Hey guys, welcome in. I am definitely not the Prez, but this is definitely the betting edge with everybody but the damn Prez here, WagerTalk.com. Joining us here today, Tony Finn, WagerTalk, and of course, Mr. Dave Koken is here as usual. I'm Joe Ranieri filling in for the Prez, who I have no idea if he's in jail or where he might be here, guys, but it's a pleasure to be with you both, guys, so thanks for letting me host the show here today.
Good to be with you as well, Joe. And I imagine Prez probably at a poker table about now.
Yeah, that's a good point there too. You're not that far off. I think that's exactly where he is. But we got games here tonight, guys. College basketball, of course, started yesterday. NBA in full swing. NFL, college football. It is all taking place right now. Busy time of year, Tony.
Oh,
this is like the crazy time of year, is it not?
It is. This is mania. This is sports mania. If a degenerate can't get his fix this time of year, there's no helping him.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of truth to that. We all know what happened. Want to remind you guys, of course, everything you could possibly need from both of these guys, including Dave Koken's got a best bet here tonight at WagerTalk.com. All you guys got to do is head over to WagerTalk.com. Not only Dave, but of course the whole gang there, Tony included, is there. They are ready to rock and roll. They've got plays, chances for you to be able to make it a profitable Wednesday here, and I guess let's start with college basketball since it's the thing on everybody's mind. And Tony, I will start with you, my friend. Interesting game taking place tonight. ACC matchup, no less. FSU, Florida State. Mr. Hamilton over there, can't believe he still has a job, taking on the Pitt Panthers. Talk to me about this game here tonight.
Well, the Seminoles are coming off the best season ever under Hamlin, at least. Best season ever, really. I think they were 28 wins last year. We're competing for the Sweet 16. And that team is completely gone. They've lost 4 of their top 5 scorers. The one scorer that returns has been touted, and Hamilton himself did an interview about his own. He did his own season preview, and he said that this kid's good enough to carry them through some of their growing pains, per se. I disagree. This is the ACC. Even a Pittsburgh team that's considered the bottom tier, still with Capel, still building this group. He has a couple of really good guards. They're sophomores. They're outstanding. Performed outstanding as a freshman. And I think the line, this is a team that didn't win. They were 0, and 2 years ago they were 0-4 in conference play. Last year they were 4-14. And this line only being 4 points, I know it may sound strange, with FSU giving 4, people see Pittsburgh as being less than right now. I disagree. I think it speaks volumes. I like Pittsburgh here today at home and an opener against a Florida State team that has a lot of questions to answer.
Going with the dog. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Not that Pittsburgh's going to be any great shakes, but I thought they were showing some improvement last year. I mean, they were so bad a couple of years back, and then they made the coaching change. And I would expect a little more progress this year. Not that the Panthers are going to contend for anything in the ACC. It's too good a league. But I don't think they're going to get kicked around as much as they did last year. And Florida State, they pretty not the same cast of characters, but I'm sure they remember last year's game with Pitt. That wasn't a great performance by the Seminoles. I think Pittsburgh gives them a real good game tonight and can see this one going either way. I would look to take the points with Pittsburgh.
It's interesting, guys. We had Jim Larinaga, of course, down here by me in Miami. They were, according to Jim, forced to have to play Louisville for Game 1, and he wasn't very happy about that. He said, we would have rather have played, and I appreciate Larinaga's honesty because he's been around the block, but his whole point was, we got this ACC network thing, and now they're demanding that that the schedule provide quality content right off the bat, so they can't take on St. Bonaventure anymore. They've actually got to take on some quality teams. So he was a little pissed off about that, and it's interesting. They continue.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good for college basketball, in my opinion.
I agree.
You got the Championship Classic at the Garden last night with 4 great teams, and you had an actual ACC schedule last night, and you've got another one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I think you want to generate interest early in the season in college basketball, put together good matchups.
Absolutely. No point in playing, Sisters of the Blind there. Doesn't make any sense. Nobody wants to tune in and watch that to begin with. Tony Finn, Wager Talk, you got his Twitter right there, guys, at Finn at Wager Talk. A lot of vowels in that one. Of course, Dave Koken's a little easier, at Dave Koken on Twitter. And, of course, WagerTalk.com. You guys can find him. Make sure you head over there. Plenty of plays in action tonight on the card, and we'll move along. Let's go college football here, guys. And Dave, I'll start with you, man. How about Iowa State taking on Oklahoma? I'm not sure Oklahoma has recovered from the ass whooping they took over there in Kansas State. So the rankings come out. All of a sudden, they're 9. They're in no man's land here. I don't know. Do you still trust Oklahoma to get things done the rest of the way?
Yeah, sure. Why not? They got a hell of a team. They've got a Heisman Trophy quarterback candidate in Jalen Hurts. Iowa State's a quality team. There's no question about that. But I don't think this is a great spot for Iowa State. Oklahoma's going to be seething off what happened a couple weeks ago, where they lose badly to Kansas State. They got close at the end, but they got knocked around in that football game. Oklahoma's not out of this thing, but one thing they need to do now, excuse me, is they need to, when they can, get style points. You're gonna now because you're no longer unbeaten. You've got some teams you got to climb over, and you want to impress the selection committee as much as possible. So that could lead to maybe add-on touchdowns at the end. If they're up by 2 touchdowns, they might try to make it 3. There's motivation to do so. I think Iowa State's got a tough time here. I look for Oklahoma to come out real focused. I think Oklahoma can focus defensively on stopping the Iowa State quarterback, who's basically their whole show. And I'm going to side with Oklahoma in this matchup.
Ty, what do you think? Norman going to be rocking here this weekend?
Well, Norman's always rocking on Saturdays. It's as close you're going to get to some of the southern cities down in your area that basically shut the whole damn town down for football, Saturday afternoon football. I agree with Dave. Listen, Oklahoma's not going to allow. Iowa State's not capable. Believe it or not, they're not as capable as Kansas State offensively as far as ball control, time of possession. Kansas State's one of the best teams in college football, despite their pedestrian offense. There's still a lot of Bill Snyder in this scheme, and that's just grind it out and kill people, with patience. And here's the deal. Iowa State's not capable of having 38 minutes of time possession. They're playing in Norman, not playing in Little Apple in Manhattan, a tough place to play, and they're in Snyder Family Stadium. And Iowa State, really 70%. I think they've overachieved, guys, this year. I really think they've played exceptional offensively as well. They lost 70% of their offense. 2 guys to the NFL, receiver, running back Montgomery, for instance, Chicago, and it's going to be a tougher gig, as Dave said today, in Norman and Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, Iowa State's not capable of keeping up offensively with Oklahoma, so they're going to have to do something defensively. I think this is Oklahoma by margin, and I mean probably 2 touchdowns or more.
Yeah, it's going to be something about Oklahoma teams that they're going to have nightmares about in Iowa. There, coming off the Oklahoma State beat down there. Now they got to go to Norman, take on Oklahoma. This should be very interesting. How about the NFL, guys? Tony, we'll start with you. NFL, Dallas got away with a win. I mean, thank God that Danny Dimes plays for the Giants, but you wouldn't know it. He might as well have put on a Dallas Cowboys uniform. Minnesota traveling to Dallas. Minnesota coming off the tough loss. Kansas City. Dallas back home trying to do what they can do to keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles. Who you like in this one?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I want to desperately like Minnesota because I have a ton of questions about Dallas. I mean, what team leads the league in yards per game, leads the league in yards per play, ranks 4th in rushing yards? I think they rank about 4th in passing yards and 5th in points per game, and are fortunate, in my opinion, to be 5-3 overall. Here's the deal: the teams that they've beat, Giants twice, I believe, Washington, Miami. The only team with a winning record they've beaten is Philly, and they're barely above 500. Listen, Minnesota didn't play very well in Kansas City, or Kansas City played. The defense did some things that they don't normally do. Pag did a good job there. I would take Minnesota in the points here. When you're coming off a Monday night win, a short week. Dallas has a history of underperforming.
Yeah, they ought to adopt that damn cat, Dave. What do you think, man? You back in Minnesota? You back in, or you back in the Cowboys to get it done? Jason Garrett and company at home.
I probably won't be backing anybody in this game. I made Dallas 2, so a tiny bit of an edge on the number to Minnesota. But the Cowboys are a weird football team.
Yeah, they are.
I think the talent level is there. Yet they have not performed on a consistent basis all season, and they've got a loss to the Jets.
Yeah.
Say no more.
I don't even know how that happens at this point. I mean, the Jets just, oh my God, the green slime. But this is one of those tricky spots where I think you're going to see some Minnesota money show up here. Even though the Vikings lost last week, I think the perception is they're the better football team. I don't know that the Cowboys impressed a lot of people, despite the fact they won by a margin on Monday against the Giants. And my suspicion is that you're going to get it's just going to end up one of those games where it won't be a sharp square game, but I think that there's going to be a slight edge to the Cowboys because nobody wants them. And this is the weird thing about Dallas this year. I'm having trouble getting out what I want to say, but I think I figured it out. Dallas is a team that this year, and actually you can argue this has been the case throughout the Jason Garrett era. When they're expected to do well, they don't. When they're not expected to do well, they do. I think this is one of those weeks where a lot of people will think they're not going to do well here. And using Cowboys logic, this is where they rise up and play decent games. So my lean is to Dallas, but I can tell you that there's no chance that this will be on my card.
Dallas seems to be that team now that plays down to the competition and plays up to that level.
Yeah.
The teams they're supposed to beat. Tomlin, that's been the problem with Mike Tomlin for years in Pittsburgh, always playing down to the crap teams. And then all of a sudden when the good teams come, the teams they're supposed to give them a hard time, they show up. Van Der Esch, I think, is check the health on him, too. Another guy they're going to need to stop Dalvin Cook, who is just by far got to be one of the top 3 running backs in the league this year, if not the guy. All right, so we got Minnesota, we got Dallas, we got Iowa State, Oklahoma in college football. We covered FSU, Pittsburgh, college basketball. Now would be a good time to remind you guys, 62% college football, 3rd straight year for you, Koken. What the hell's going on, brother? You got a magic ball? What's going on there, man?
No, I have an MO, if you want to call it that, in college football that I follow very faithfully, and it produces winners.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't damn fix it, too. 7-1, by the way, in the on an NHL run. You do have a best bet up tonight, too, at WagerTalk as well?
Yeah, I like one college basketball game tonight. It's a pretty big game. It's the Virginia-Syracuse matchup, and that's available right now at WagerTalk.com. Haven't yet finished up the hockey. There's only 2 games tonight, so good chance I'll take the night off. But if there's an NHL play, it'll be for all-access players only because it won't go up until later. My hockey philosophy, and this hurts my sales because I don't have promotions for individual games, but it's like baseball for me. In baseball, I want to know who the starting pitchers are, and I like to know who's in the lineup. In the NHL, I want confirmed goalies before I play. So if you want my hockey, the best thing to do is to get an all-access package. And that way, even though I send the games out fairly late, you'll get them. I mean, I didn't send out the Blues until, I don't know, it's probably 3:30 Pacific time last night. Got the win.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So all you got to do, by the way, and way to go, Finn. Way to shut the phone off while we're doing the show here. WagerTalk.com, guys, is where you go. You'll have the plays up there. You can also get your all-access pass with Dave right there at WagerTalk.com, plus great free information, free plays, everything you guys need in one spot over at WagerTalk.com. And I got to ask you, Dave, when do the Islanders plan on losing, or are they going to lose again?
Boy, they're playing some hockey. And,
crap.
Barry Trotz, guy's amazing.
Yeah.
He was in Nashville all those years. They never really had any good teams, and yet he kept them competitive. Goes to Washington, finally wins the Stanley Cup with the Capitals. And I thought the Islanders overachieved last year. Now they're better than they were a year ago.
Yep.
They've got a couple of stars in that team. and they play a system that just stifles the opposition. Smart hockey team.
Yep. Tough, smart hockey team. They got some depth over there, and they're winning games, guys, which is they're loving it out on the island, that's for sure. All right.
Yeah, the Bruins are playing pretty well, too. They finally lost the regulation game last night, but boy, they look like the best team in the league right now.
The Capitals, too. I mean, what did they lose? 3 games? I mean, it's like you got to be – they're humming along over here. Hockey's going to be very interesting. You know who's not? Toronto, as usual.
Now, you know, we talked about this yesterday on Puck Time, and I bet on this. He won't get fired during the season, but after the Maple Leafs get knocked out of the playoffs early, which I think they will, Mike Babcock will be gone.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's done? This will be it. This will be
after this. I think this will be his last season there.
Wow, love to got to find a prop on that there, Finn. Got to get on that as well. I think that's actually a good play too, because they love their hockey in Toronto. They're never any good, but boy, they've always got great talent on paper. But what the hell does that mean? It's kind of like the Sixers in the NBA, who also have great talent.
I think these old school coaches. And Babcock would fit that MO. I don't think they connect with the younger players today.
That's been the knock with some of these guys, hasn't it been though, for a while now?
Yeah.
You know,
and that's why I think he'll be out after this year. I don't think he's changed with the times, so to speak.
Yeah, no, he hasn't, and there's just too much talent on that team too. That's the killer part about it. You can't have that much talent and then not perform and not live up to it. And which goalie you going with? It's a bit mind-blowing.
They've only got one goalie. That's Frederick Anderson. He's terrific. Hutchinson is
crap, but it's not when you're betting on him. He's not. Oh, he's fantastic when you want the overs. Finn, talk to me. Philadelphia 76ers here tonight. What are they doing? Taking on Utah. Rudy Gobert is going to what? Bitch slap all over your boy there at center. What's going on with Philadelphia? Another team I can't figure out, man. I want to believe in them, but I can't.
Well, I think you need to be concerned with Philly if you're a fan, if you're part of that organization. As far as their outside shooting, I don't think they're just not good enough from the perimeter, in my opinion, to keep Joel Embiid clean. And Simmons almost refuses to shoot from the outside. Not that I blame him, but if I shot like that as well, and I might, if I haven't seen me shooting well. But long story short, this team, I expect them to pick up some perimeter help, I think, down here after the holidays, per se. But this is a tough spot. Gobert's not going to mess around with Embiid. He may be that new style. I don't know if what do you call them, guys? The new age bullies where they're not the old Detroit Pistons.
No,
Joel
bitch.
Embiid.
Is that the word?
Yeah,
you're looking for?
yeah. Well, maybe that's exactly. Whatever the hell it is, it's funny. I covered this kid when he was in college, and he was pretty meek and mild. And the other day I made a little comment after the fight. I said, "My, have we grown up?" And being sarcastic, I don't know if you picked it up, but it's not attractive in my opinion, and I think that they struggle. I think Gobert handles them, and they're going to play at altitude. I think it's a great spot for Utah, and you're only having to lay 2 points. I take Utah.
Yeah, it's amazing how defense seems to win in the NBA, and what a shock! You got to actually isn't defense all effort, Koken? Isn't that what it's always about, right? You don't need a whole lot of a talent to play defense, do you?
No, defense is effort. You're right. Effort in scheme. You got to have the right scheme as well. I can't comment on the NBA because I don't follow the league, but so I couldn't tell you two things about the 76ers or Jazz. I don't know. Maybe the 76ers should tank again.
Yeah, amen, brother. Amen. Exactly. And you know what? Stop fighting on Instagram, Tony Finn. Like, you put the gloves on, get in the damn street.
Oh yeah.
Work.
I don't have any problem with guys fighting.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I don't. Sometimes you want to show a little intensity. That's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good hockey fight. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. Put a penalty box on the basketball court. I don't like the idea of them being suspended.
I'm okay with the fighting too. It's just the way it's just when you fight open-handed, it's just not macho enough for me, and that's basically what I saw between these two. Yeah.
I don't think fights should be an everyday occurrence in the NBA, but you got two guys really. I saw the highlight, and they were playing hard and just got a little bit steamed at each other. Happens once in a while.
It's okay.
I want competitive guys.
Yep.
Happens quite a bit to Embiid, by the way.
Yeah.
Like every night.
More often than not. What a shock. Now, Tony, up at WagerTalk.com, what you got going on there today?
Today we got I have 2 college basketball tonight and 1 NBA. I haven't loaded all my college yet. I've released one that I actually had to pull down already because the line moved outside of my parameters. And I have a big play in the NFL on Sunday, so I'm really looking forward to the Sunday's NFL slate. I'm excited about it. I think there's some intriguing games and a couple dogs I really like. So stop by, take a look, give me a call.
Love it. Tony Finn, Dave Koken. It's WagerTalk.com, guys. All you got to do is get there. It's pretty simple. It's you spell it out. WagerTalk.com. Plays are up there. Don't forget Dave's got his play tonight. Virginia, Syracuse, ready to rock and roll up. He may or may not have a little play in the NHL as well when he has a chance to look at it. But the all-access pass, you can't go wrong. And Tony is ready to rock and roll this weekend. College basketball tonight, too. You both guys are ready to rock and roll and make some money here today.
Oh, gotta make the effort, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly it. Today. Welcome back, college basketball, college football, NFL. Any thoughts? Did you guys have a chance to look Thursday night football? Or are you guys buying the Raiders? It's in your neck of the woods there, Dave and Tony. What do you think?
I'm still working on the game, although my initial indications are Chargers.
But are you buying what they're selling there with Gruden and company? I mean, does him and Mayock have a clue as to what they're doing after all?
Apparently so. I mean, they're playing good football. I mean, the Chargers have awakened the last couple of weeks, so looks like it should be a good rivalry battle tomorrow night.
Yeah, which is all we can hope for.
I'd beware of sleeping on Gruden. I think he's capable. We'll see. I don't know about. Listen, I'm not sure about Mayock. I'm really not. I don't know enough about him, but I think.
I mean, they're clearly an improved team this year.
Yes, I agree. Without question, they have outperformed my expectations. They really have.
Yep. Yep. And they're getting production from guys that they, in this draft that everyone questioned and said, "What the hell are you doing?" Well, I don't know. Josh Jacobs looks like a pretty damn good running back, a typical John Gruden-style running back, makes the first guy miss and then runs you over. So Gruden's going to want to run the ball. Period.
Yeah, and of course, the thing that's really helped the Raiders is the performance of the tight end. It's a great story.
Right. Yes.
He has been fantastic. He's arguably the best tight end in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been a huge plus for the Raiders.
Yep. And by the way, does Belichick and company, do they bounce back? Or is the sky falling like everyone wants us to believe? Are the Patriots going to be okay there, guys?
Are you kidding?
Listen, they can.
Where you been for the last 2 decades? I mean, they lost the game. Big deal.
Ravens fans want you to believe it's done. He ought to retire before the end of the year because if I hear MVP talk for Lamar Jackson one more time, I'm going to throw up. I really am.
It's November.
Yeah.
And it's early. It's early November.
You got to play Belichick twice. Like, you got to see. He don't lose twice. You got him once. That's enough. You don't lose twice.
Dave Koken for most valuable player. We'll just.
I don't think so. I'm not.
Well,
I'm not playing. I'm not playing
the damn Prez, I'll tell you that. So, on behalf of Tony Finn, Dave Koken, I'm Joe Ranieri. Guys, thank you very much. The betting edge with the Prez. Of course, WagerTalk.com, guys. Go get the plays. Dave, Tony, love you guys. Thank you very much for taking the time. Good luck to you guys tonight.
You too. Thanks.